Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danil from the King Realty Group. Hope you're having a great day, and thanks again for joining us on our new installment. It's the February 2019 monthly stat report. We're going to take a look at January 2019 numbers. We're comparing to last year and also to the tail end of 2018 as well to kind of see where we're at and what are some of the predictions going forward and what kind of been happening here in the GTA. This is the video for you. Stay tuned for more info. All right, guys, so we're back at it again. This is February 2019. We're reviewing January numbers, and we're trying to see, where are we at this year, where we're going in 2019. In addition, we're trying to take a look at those January numbers. How did we compare to 2018? Now, did we start the year off in a good foot? And what happened comparison to December 2018? Do we have a little bit of an increase there? And no, January has kind of been a weird month in terms of weather here in the city. There was an actual snow day. All of my life, I've gone to school here in the GTA in the Catholic school system. I have never had a snow day, and my son actually stayed home from school one of these days that passed because of the inclement weather, and that's kind of crazy. It's funny to note, though, that there was still pretty good activity even in the month of January, even with all this weather, which is actually a good positive thing for everyone who's either in the market or is a homeowner for sure, because obviously still activity going on here in the GTA. One of the things we do cover, guys, just so I can give you a reminder if you're the first time joining us, is that we're looking at the monthly average price point in the GTA of all housing types. We also take a look a little bit more in depth with the different home types as well. So we look at detached homes, semi-detaches, townhomes, and we also look at condos as well, and we see how that compares to last year. In addition, guys, we take a look at micro markets, Durham, Peel, York, and the city of Toronto. You want to also gauge if we're in a buyer market or a seller market as well, because those are some good indications of where our market is going. All this info is more on a macro level. Just want to warn you, right? We live in a pretty big region, the GTA, and there's a lot of little smaller communities within the bigger GTA. You may live in a pocket which is a little bit more active than a pocket somewhere else in the city, for example. And so I just want to let you know, if you want more specific information about where you live or where you want to live in terms of a purchase, then you reach out, guys, and we'll give you some more detailed info in that certain pocket, because I know that things are different from street to street. Okay, first and foremost, though, let's pull up the numbers here and let's take a look at the average GTA price here in January 2019. Let's take a look. So we see the average GTA price, guys, is $748,328. That's actually up 1.7% from last year. That means that we are starting off in a good foot. I mean, the prices have increased slightly from 2018. I know that we're not going to get a crazy jump in price from last year to this year. However, the prediction was that we are going to have a slight increase in 2019. We're also going to have more sales is part of the prediction as well. So this already kind of shows that we did have a little bit of an increase. And we're going to talk about sales in a bit as well, and you're going to see there was a slight increase there as well. For semi-detaches, guys, we got 900 and that was the average price point. But what about detached homes? Detached homes, the average price point was $941,488. It's actually down 2.8% from last year. Again, detached has always had that theme. They went up in price pretty crazily over the last 3 to 4 years, and then in 2017, 2018, there was a little bit of an adjustment when it came to detached homes. At the end of the day, if you average it out over the last 5 years, it's been pretty solid growth. It just really affected people who bought on a high end and are now seeing maybe that the prices have not caught up to where they paid initially. That's okay, though. What you got to do in that situation is just hold on, wait it out a little bit longer. Prices will catch up to the price that you paid. Now let's take a look here at semi-detaches. We got semi-detaches here, guys, at 742,738. That is up 3.6%, which is a good positive number. In townhomes, we got it at 641,028. And that's actually up 4.6%. And with condominiums, we got them at 548,176, and that's up 7.9%. So you notice that the lower priced properties, semis, towns, and condos are all positive. And the reason is they are a lower price point. Over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of mortgage rules as well that have affected a lot of people's purchasing power, and they're able to afford a lot less home. So we're seeing that the bulk of the sales and the majority of increases are more so for the lower priced homes, which end up being semis, towns, and condos. Detaches, still on the more expensive side. A lot of people out of the market for a detached home in many parts of the city. All right. Let's take a look at sales, guys. because I did mention that there was a little bit of an increase. So we had 4,009 sales in the month of January. That's crazy because of all the weather that we've had. We still had an increase of 0.6% versus January 2018. Still a little bit of an inch up in sales. And we did say that in 2019, we're likely going to have overall more sales than last year. A little bit more activity in 2019 for sure. So this is starting off in the good foot. This is all just considering the weather that we had in January. People were still out there purchasing homes, 4,009 of them to be exact. That's actually a good sign, and I think that we are heading in the right direction. Slight increases in price, slight increases in sales as well, and that's where we are in January. Now, one thing that I do always like to talk about is also some of the key points you want to take away, and we'll do that in a sec, but first let's take a look at months of inventory. That's going to give us an idea of we're in a seller or a buyer market in different pockets. Let's bring that paper up now. Sorry, not paper, but let's bring that image up now in the video so we can talk about it a bit. Toronto, guys, we have 2.51 months of inventory or 40% sales to active listings. That kind of lets us know that we're technically more so on a seller side here in the city of Toronto, and that's basically the thing we've had all year long. And it's true, okay? If you own a property in Toronto, chances are you can sell it. You just got to do the right things, okay? Same thing goes for Durham, guys. We have it at 2.71 months of inventory, or 37% sales to active listings. Again, technically in the seller's market, same sort of thing, guys. We need to be pricing things right in our markets, and they are able to sell. Not everything sells. That is a misconception, but you can't be pricing things super high in this market. You can't be trying super high numbers. You know, if there's a kind of a different situation or scenario going on your street or whatever, that might be the case. But in the majority of situations right now, I wouldn't be pricing things super high. You want to go close to market value. Or if you have very obvious benefits or value adds inside your home versus your competitors, and that might be another reason why you're pricing a little higher. But for the most part, you want to be close to market in this market right now. Same thing goes with Peel, guys. It's actually a little bit stronger in sales there. It's 2.12 months of inventory or 47 sales to active listings. That shows us that, again, in Peel region, it's pretty strong. And if you're doing the right things, pricing things right, and doing the right type of marketing, staging, preparing the home, preparing the home might not be any furniture. It could just be painting, it could be decluttering, but we try to do all those things to prepare the home and put it in the best light for all buyers. We want to make sure that it appeals to the masses versus specific taste in specific people, okay, because that kind of lowers your buyer pool, okay. But you could do well in Peel as well, still technically on the seller side based on the numbers. Looking at York region, same sort of theme from last year. It's 5.25 months of inventory. It's more balanced or moving towards a buyer market. Hey, you can go out there. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of options as a buyer. Inventory available. You can compare different homes. You can make adjustments. I did have a client out there looking in the 900 range. Not too long ago, all those houses were $1 million. Now we can get it for 800, 900, So pricing is a little bit more reasonable in York. They have a lot of competition, a lot of inventory. So as a buyer, you have a good chance to negotiate and get a good deal for yourself. As a seller, you just got to be really careful. You got to be honest about the situation, and you got to also take into consideration your competition and really make sure that you're doing the best thing in terms of the marketing piece so that you can actually move your property and actually, do a sale. I don't think people put properties up for sale without wanting a sale at the end of that. So if you're putting, dollars and effort into a sale, you want to make sure you're making the best decisions. And if you feel weird about that or not sure about that or want a second opinion, maybe you're working with someone, you're not getting straight answers, reach out, guys. Let's take a look at your specific situation, and we'll come out to the home. We'll give you an honest opinion of what the value is. And, we're going to be 100% honest with you. We want to serve you. We want to have a sold sign at the end of the day. We don't want to put things up for sale and hope for the best, okay? We don't try to hope. We have systems in place to make sure things get done when it comes to us and our clients, okay? So I wanted to actually leave off there. And that's all the regions that we look at for months of inventory. A couple of things to note. Seasonally adjusted sales by TREB are actually letting us know that from December 2018 to January 2019, there was an increase in price from 3.4%. That's great. And again, it goes in line with that whole thing. The weather wasn't the greatest, and yet there were still increases. That's a good positive sign. It means people are active in our marketplaces. Buyers are getting a little bit more into it. I'm noticing myself, people are reaching out out of nowhere sometimes just to see if they can get into the market now and purchase. There's a bit more confidence in the marketplace, it seems. Another thing that we're looking at as well is prediction of more sales in this year. We did have a little bit of an increase in sales versus last year for January, and a little bit of an increase as well price point. We should be seeing that trend every single month going forward. Let's see if that's what happens. Housing affordability has been a concern in the GTA. That's one thing that many people are still looking at. I still get a lot of questions about, oh, interest rates are going up. I think I'm going to wait. I'm not getting approved for the thing that I wanted to get approved for because of the stress test. And, all these things that impacted the mortgage world over the last couple of years are still vibrating. You're still feeling that's going through our marketplace and the buyers, and it's still affecting them. So for that reason, some people are still kind of looking at this. They're not finding the right thing for the budget that they have. They want 3 bedrooms, they want a backyard, they want a garage, but sometimes that means you can't even buy in Toronto. You got to go out to Durham, you got to go out to Peel region. I'm having to say that a lot to people, and they got to transit into the city because of the budget, and that's a real thing. So it might still be a theme into the next year, and that kind of makes sense for this last point. For this reason, condos and lower price home types such as townhomes or condo townhomes are seeing increased prices, versus a detached house, a semi-detached in certain areas. And it's because of the price point. People are able to afford a condo a lot more than they can afford a detached home. I think that goes without saying, but for that reason, those type of properties are actually increased in price, and they have the strongest price growth versus all property types. And it's all because of the same sort of thing. People can't afford this $900, $1 million house, but they can't afford a $500,000 condo or $600,000-$700,000 townhouse. They exist, but detached homes, really tough to get in the city of Toronto. You may have to go to outside regions. York region is actually pretty pricey, to be honest, but maybe into Peel region, maybe into Durham, you might be able to find things in your budget. One of the things that I always talk about with our clients, with our buyers, is we got to figure out what your budget is. We got to figure out what you're okay with on a monthly basis and an all-in price, considering property tax, utilities, all these extra fees a lot of people don't consider. What is that all looking like? And then we take a look at what places in the GTA we can actually purchase, and we look at it from that angle so that you're not house poor and spending too much on a house. You got to live, you got to go out. And so if you want to look at that and analyze that situation with yourself, get in touch, guys. We do one-on-one buyer walkthroughs where we talk about the buying process, take a look at your situation, where you are today, what you got to do to reach your goal, and then we set an action plan to actually reach that goal. More seminars coming up this year. We did one for first-time buyers and pre-construction with RBC, which was great. Well received as well. We're going to do a lot more into the future. Going to send communications to you guys in terms of the seminars. You may have family members or people interested that are interested in this sort of content, and definitely sets people in the right direction. Everyone really enjoyed that. So we're going to do more of those this year. If you have any questions, guys, you always reach out to us. We're going to set up a website so it's easier for you to connect on social media. But for now, at King Realty TO is basically where you can find us on Instagram and Twitter, even on Facebook. Our Facebook, what is it called? The Facebook business page? Yeah, so it's /King Realty TO. So find us on those channels, guys, or give us a quick phone call, 647-931-1313. info@kingrealty.to as well is where you can reach us to have any specific questions answered. We would love to answer your questions. Those are free of cost, no problem at all. I just want to make sure that you're getting the right information. More answers than questions when it comes to real estate is probably the best thing. All right, get in touch, guys. Have a great day. Thanks so much for watching the video in its entirety to this point right now. I really appreciate you. All right, take care.